Hello interwebs, I'm Ignatius Lake. The game up for review today is Assassin's Creed 3, the 5th installment in the Assassin's Creed franchise. Yes, the 5th. Assassin's Creed 3 stars a new assassin, Connor, also known as Rakanoho. I can't pronounce it. It's a giant native name with at least 2 commas and a semicolon, and accents God knows where. So, you play as Connor, a new assassin, fighting for freedom against the Templars in the American Revolutionary War. His story in Assassin's Creed 3 is wonderfully laid out. I liked the pacing, everything was good about it. The story was detailed, you had some emotional connections, you even kind of felt for some of the characters, which is harder to do with this style of free roam game. Although the characters you felt for were more the ones that inhabited your homestead that you built, because you do side missions for these people and get to know them more and more, and are kind of part of their lives since you own the land that they live on. These tradespeople that you get to your homestead, in turn, also supply things that you can do with them, such as craft supplies, buy materials from them, trade them to make profit. Although the best way I found to make profit was to run up down rivers in the frontier, hunting beavers by the dozen. Things are so slow and worth so much cash. Literally like everywhere. You throw a rock and you can hear a beaver squeal if you're anywhere near a river. And you can just hunt these things for days because they're the only animals slower than. The frontier is also one of the biggest pieces of what makes this game great. It exhibits perfect free roam. You can go do anything. You can run around for hours in this place, doing whatever you want. Completing assassinations contracts, raiding Templar forts. You can go complete missions inside cities called liberation missions in order to free districts and get them under your control in order to recruit assassins, which in turn you can send on missions in order to get supplies, give them experience, and make them in general more badass. The side missions in the liberation missions are also very varied, which is nice because you tend to only do the same mission about 3 times per an area at most. Each area sometimes even has a different mission for each of them, which is nice. You never feel like you're being dragged down by these missions because you have to do the same one like 60 times. You only do them 3 times, maybe you jump around, do other ones in between. It's a nice change of pace. The cities that they built for the Free Roam 2, Boston and New York, are amazing. I love them. And running around these cities, you can really do whatever you feel like. I love fighting guards. Love it. The new combat system they developed, the new block parry system, works great for more experienced players, allowing you to do more combos and execute your skills in a cinematic style that just makes you feel more awesome. I literally killed 100 guards in New York. They just kept coming and you just chop them to bits with tomahawks. Tomahawked everything. Another one of the side missions that you can do that is accessible from the homestead or in the cities are naval missions. These naval missions take place on your ship that you own called the Aquila. These missions are by far, in my opinion, the best part of the game. These naval fights are cinematic masterpieces. I feel like we went into this naval battle and it was done by professionals. This was all laid out, staged, and choreographed and went flawlessly. Even though I'm the one who gets to control where the ship moves, when it shoots, and how it shoots. While the free roam is absolutely amazing in the game and what makes the game great, the thing that drags the game down is actually the story missions. While the story, phenomenally well done, the missions for them are very constraining, making you take very linear paths, giving you very little choice on how to complete them. Since it does this, it takes away from the whole other aspect that makes the game great, the freedom. The being able to run around like a retard in the cities, hacking guards to bits, or silently stalking your prey in the wilderness in order to get that perfectly preserved pelt to make the most money. The story missions give you a very linear thing, you have to follow it along, there's almost no choice. In the first third of the game, the only missions you can do are more or less story missions. When you do these story missions, it brings down the whole game. First third of it felt like a task. Like I had to work through something. Although working through it was well worth the reward on the other side, it did bring down the game in general due to its very slow start. The only other thing that I found that hampered this game was if you played it as a purist with no HUD, no display, nothing up at all, so you played like you were just the actual character with nothing to work with but your own senses, you couldn't actually beat the game. Due to the fact that wildlife encounters with different animals like cougars, wolves, bears, trigger QuickTime events. To do these QuickTime events, you have to press whatever buttons come up on the screen in order to kill the animal. The problem is, if you turn off all the indicators, you turn off something called the SSI indicator. Without that indicator on, the QuickTime event buttons that are randomly generated don't show up on the screen. I spent an hour getting eaten by wolves because I didn't know that, because no button showed up on my screen. So, you know, Fluffy, the little cute dog, jumped on my face and tore out my throat for an hour. So you have to play with the one indicator that lights up when anyone attacks you, which kind of makes your combat, in my opinion, not as fun, but really, unless if you're playing as a purist of this game series, it doesn't affect you at all. So it's only really a minor thing that'll only affect a few people. Overall, Assassin's Creed 3 gets a 4 out of 5 on Overmind.com. I'm Ignatius Lake. You can find me at Mr. Snoogles at Twitter.com, and I'm signing off.